On today's episode of BTags and Flem, we are recording in my living room at night. It's a Saturday night. Derek, Saturdays are for the boys. Remember, today we go over this day in history, an interview with fan favorite Tyler Pavese, or should I say favorite fan, and we'll see what else we got.
Yeah, we're kind of just doing this on the fly. So
On the
we're going
fly.
to talk about a nice Devils win. We're going to go over Final Four of March Madness.
But before we get to all that, we'd just like to remind you that this episode is brought to you by BTags and Flem Podcast. Follow BTags and Flem Podcast on Twitter for all of your needs to stay updated with new episodes as well as all of the featured sweepstakes, including the March Madness Bracket Challenge, where you could win a dinner date with Derek Fleming. Just submit your bracket to BTags and Flem Podcast, but make sure you follow us on Twitter first. All winnings are paid for in part by BTags and Flem Podcast. Hit it, Cho!
Now when the sun come up, I'll be there to say what up in the morning. I'll be up and away, cause they gon' judge me anyway. So whatever, I'll be up and away, cause in the end they'll judge me anyway. So whatever.
Alright, so our dedication, Derek and I, it's Saturday night. During March Madness, there's Dave and Randy sitting in on the recording of the podcast as well. Dave just said hi. Derek, how dedicated are we to the fans?
Yeah, we're just, trying to... We were going to watch Villanova in Kansas, but this game's not good at all. So instead, we're going to watch an elite game where Randy Napolitano probably placed top 80 in Fortnite. So... Oh, actually, there's 77 people left, so he's doing better than what is predicted. Yeah, but we're in a different atmosphere right now. We're in Anthony's living room, which is more electric than the Prudential Center itself.
It is. Might I also add that my living room there's a fan, and it's not as hot as our usual conditions.
Yeah, that green room gets really sweaty real fast.
Oh my
You can
goodness.
ask McQuaid.
There is no Mr. McQuaid.
Mr. McQuaid.
The Devils won against the Islanders. That's 2 points.
Lot of screaming went on tonight.
It was an electric factory.
Devils win 4-3 against the New York Islanders. Now they are 5 points ahead of the Florida Panthers with, I believe, 4 games left. Florida has 5. So if the Devils manage to hold on to this 5-point lead that they have over the Florida Panthers, then guess what? We'll be playing either Tampa Bay or we'll be playing the Boston Bruins in the playoffs of the first round. This will be the first time the Devils have made it in 5 years.
As I was saying before, to top off the day, the Florida Panthers, our biggest enemies currently have lost today.
Against
which
the
is
Boston
good,
Bruins.
which is very good. I cannot be happier for that. So, good day in the NHL. The Yankees did lose.
The Yankees did lose, but they are
2-1.
up 2-1 in the series
2-1.
right now. So, looking good, Giancarlo started that game with 2 home runs as the day.
Let's talk about 2 home runs from Austin.
And Tyler Austin, great game today.
Austin.
In a losing effort, he still played great. And it's just,
he brought them back,
They literally just somehow they managed to just have such a deep team. We're just going to see how the Yankees... Obviously, the Yankees are going to do great this year. Nobody's even predicting them to go even as short as the ALCS. They'll probably
let's just remember
World Series or bust.
Derek, Sports Illustrated does have the Washington Nationals of Washington winning a World Series this year
for the third straight year,
which I think is the biggest laughingstock, being that we all know no team from Washington can win a national championship. Now,
when was the last time they made it past the second round?
Now, with all that, I honestly couldn't tell you. But with all that, let's move on to a little this day in history. Besides all of the great events that just occurred in this living room, what else happened today?
All right, now, this is going to be a really cringy moment for many, but
I'm already
on this
scared.
day in history, Kevin Ware of Louisville University had destroyed his leg. One of the most horrific injuries of all time. I posted a Instagram story saying pray for Kevin Ware back then. It was horrific. Many people were just in awe from this man's injury. He actually transferred after that year and went to Georgia Tech, I believe, where they actually played in the tournament the following year. But Louisville did, I believe they did win that year. And then just this year, Rick Pitino had his title stripped.
They got the banner taken away.
So much for Kevin Ware being that symbol for that year.
So that injury was for nothing, basically.
His leg was popping out for no reason.
That was one of those injuries that stuck with you when you watched TV. I grabbed my leg. I felt that one. That one hurt. Yeah. That and then Paul George in that summer league game.
I remember watching switched your inventory like 4 times to the same spots. But okay. Keep on going.
Yeah, I remember watching those two, and those just hurt to watch. But yeah.
And the Paul George one was bad. I remember I was in Canada for some reason. That was an interesting trip.
So Derek lost in Canada again. That will be a new segment. Derek lost in Canada. With that, we're going to move into an interview with award-winning listener and our biggest fan that we like to think, Tyler Pavese.
Cue Coming Home by Diddy. Now entering the microphone, Tyler Pavese coming back from Bergen Tech High School. Tyler Pavese, answer.
Hey guys, how's it going?
All right, now Tyler, welcome back to Park Ridge. This is your first year back. How does it feel being your first year back in Park Ridge and you're already featured on the #1 sports podcast in the high school?
It's a dream come true. I mean, This is what I was dreaming to do when I grow up. I wanted to be famous, so I want to be famous.
Now, let's just let the record show that we usually take the advice from our expert bracketologist, Mr. Evans, but with his recent March Madness showing, we decided that maybe it's the best to go elsewhere.
He's not going to be happy hearing this. Mr. Evans and Mr. Pavese have a long-lasting beef because of North Carolina and Duke. There's a beef there.
Battle of the South.
So, Mr. Evans, when you listen to this, we're going to have to get your take back on here.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get both of you guys. Maybe we'll get a little arm wrestling duel, thumb wrestle.
He is a recurring guest of ours, but Mr. Evans, we're sorry we kind of went behind your back, but Tyler Pavese is on the show to redeem himself for these UNC picks. But honestly, March Madness is nearing an end, so I don't want to talk about college basketball today. So, With that, we're going to move into the Devils. Tyler, from what we understand, you are a Devils fan just like Derek and I, right?
Big Devils fan.
Big Devils fan. All right, who's your favorite player?
Taylor Hall. He's my first Devils jersey. Hall for Heart. Taylor Ham.
So you call it Taylor Ham?
Taylor Ham. Oh,
not pork roll?
Not pork roll. That's a hot topic, let me tell you.
Hot take right here. Pavese makes his entrance known.
Only
with
Taylor Ham. All right. Well, here's my thing. Why would I want to eat a pork roll?
It sounds like someone just ground up a bunch of pork and just rolled it into a.
I guess the same.
Ball.
I guess the same argument can be made. Why would I eat tailored ham? Tailored ham. It must be a good cut.
Because maybe they want to eat a whole nominee. I mean, a heart nominee.
It sounds like a good cut. You tailor your ham.
It's tailored. I tailor my suits.
Everybody likes ham, like a very nice spiral ham.
Speaking of tailored and tailored suits, Derek will be wearing a suit for the BTags and Flem March Madness bracketologist sponsored sweepstakes winner that wins a dinner date with Derek Fleming. We will both be wearing suits.
Well, Kenji, anything can happen in Jersey.
Anything can happen in Jersey. People forget that, but we are here to remind you. So make sure you show us your bracket at the end of March Madness. Tyler, speaking of March Madness, even though we don't want to talk about college basketball today, we watched the Michigan and Loyola game. Any thoughts?
Well,
yeah, we don't care. So that game ended.
Actually, we'll ask you a quick question. What do we see with the Devils?
What do we see with the Devils? Oh,
what do we predict?
I'm seeing a team that's catching fire at the right time.
They're looking good.
They're scoring their goals. Keith Kincaid's looking solid. A little shaky tonight, but you know what? We need this kind of play from Keith Kincaid. Not tonight, but how he's been playing lately. He's been on his head. This guy's been making saves left and right. And the Devils are just burying these goals, and this is just what we need in the playoffs. Listen, if we meet Tampa first round, we have their number this year. And
That is true.
Yeah.
And
But as of now, if the playoffs started today,
It would be Bruins.
Yeah, we'd be
it
facing.
would be yes, it would be Boston.
You mentioned Keith Kincaid. Now I understand. My whole thing is ride the hot hand. Keith Kincaid's been doing well. Corey Schneider is their starting goalie, and he's been the guy for a number of years. Do you think he should get back on the ice, or do you think that would hurt their chance of making it to the playoffs?
Listen, I want Keith to play as long as he can, and once he starts looking too shaky, and once he starts getting a little tired, you give Corey his chance, get him his confidence back. I'm telling you, nothing's going to give a guy confidence back than making a few big saves in a playoff game.
But do you think that maybe it will lose a little confidence that he doesn't start playoff games? I mean, you talk about, like the mindset and the psyche of a goalie. It kind of hurts to be a starter, and then you finally make it with the boys to the playoffs, and you're
Now
sitting.
you're not starting.
Yeah.
Listen, Corey knows how this game works, and he's a great guy. I'm sure he's rooting for Keith Kincaid. He wishes nothing bad upon him. But obviously, Corey's hoping he gets his chance, and when he gets his chance, I'm sure he'll prove himself. Corey's just he's a solid goalie. He's been solid in the past, and I feel like once he starts reminiscing on his past days, I feel like he can bring back some old Corey Schneider.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, that kid
that
was
kid was a
actually
meat
as
loaf.
bad as Randy, so.
yeah. I do agree with you. I think that Corey Schneider has his stuff still, and he'll get back into it. It's tough, obviously, coming off of injury, coming back into everything, especially the swing of the position of an NHL goalie. But he did have his chance, and he did play a couple of games. Unfortunately, they didn't pan out too well for him, being that he's like 0-6 recently.
He hasn't won since December.
Yeah.
You can't put him in, but I believe a dream scenario for the Devils is that Florida continues to lose and the Devils continue to win. The Devils clinch a playoff spot with, let's say 2 games left. I think you should play Corey those last 2 games because just in case Keith doesn't look good, instead of pushing Corey in a playoff game, let's just give him a few games beforehand.
You know what?
That would be a dream come true
and
scenario.
with that, Keith Kincaid earns a well-deserved rest.
He's
been
working
hustling
very hard.
his tush this stretch of games, and there's a lot of pressure on him. Obviously, they have to win these games, and he's been solid. So you know what? Nothing like earning a nice little break for yourself. Get Corey some of his confidence back. Get Keith a rest. Get him fresh for the playoffs. And it's a win-win situation right there.
Now, Tyler, you seem very well-rounded, very well-educated, and you know what you're talking about the Devils. How long have you been a true fan?
You know what? I've always rooted for the Devils because they're a New Jersey team for
The
a very
only
long
New Jersey
time.
team. Let that be known.
Yeah, it's true. And but I haven't really. I've been a hockey fan for a while, but I haven't really been huge into hockey like I've been with other sports like football. Since I'd probably say about last year, I became a very, very big Devils fan. Especially when they got Taylor Hall, that's when it really started focusing in. I was a big fan of that trade, and it panned out well.
Yeah. Well, first of all, that trade, highway robbery, basically. I mean,
A straight up trade like that, man, like that's crazy. We stole Taylor Hall from the Oilers.
Edmonton, yeah, seriously. Adam Larson, great player, and he did
Not
a lot.
really.
Well,
He's-
actually didn't. I was just trying to pay my respects to him, but actually, you know what? We ran away with that. Taylor Hall's having a phenomenal season. Maybe he could get 100 points in the stretch. We don't know. I don't want to jinx it.
He could.
He easily could, but I don't want to jinx it.
He's
4
up to
games,
like
4
96,
games
I
left.
think, right? 90,
88.
88.
Well, we'll get him next time.
So
90
there's 4 games left. So he needs 12 points in 4 games. 12 points in 4 games.
That's
Probably not, but let's get him 90.
Forgive me for my mistake, but that is a doable
If
point
you-
stretch.
I
for
believe-
Illinois.
That just goes to show how long Tyler's been an NHL fan. That is, let the record show that is just very unrealistic.
Speaking of 96 points, Connor McDavid a few days ago did reach 96 points on the season already. I think he's
Now he's
surpassed
actually
100.
Okay, so he could probably
He's
do
at
that.
like 1 or 2.
Well,
but actually,
you know what's nuts is like now it's such a different game. But like Wayne Gretzky having 212 in one season, that would never happen now.
the goaltenders were horrible. Everybody's horrible. The talent level was horrible. You put Wayne Gretzky now, he's literally maybe, I don't know, he's definitely not Nothing about the same
So
talent.
That's a hot take.
who's the goat of hockey? Taylor Hall or Wayne Gretzky?
Now this is
Taylor
like
Hall and maybe Sid the Kid.
Take this one, Skip Bayless. You talk about MJ and
This
LeBron
is an
almost
MJ
every
LeBron
single
debate.
day of your life. Well, bring Wayne Gretzky into
Well,
the
yeah,
mix.
Barstool was arguing about some guy on Barstool.
All right, we don't reference Barstool at all in this podcast. We
Well,
never
yeah,
have
because they
and we
copy
never
every
will.
single thing
Everything
we do.
Barstool comes back and copies us.
So we'd
Unbelievable.
appreciate it if you stop before we throw in.
We're gonna have
cease and desist.
Yeah, how do you like that cease and desist Barstool? By the way, if Barstool Sports was to send us a cease and desist,
Send at least 3.
Yeah, we need 3. we need at least 3.
Hey, if you hear this episode, send 4 because I'd like to put that on my fridge.
Okay, yeah, Tyler, you can add that to your resume.
Fine, send 4. Oh,
Tyler, you mentioned that you're more of a fan of other sports. In these other sports, can you name your favorite sports teams within them?
Oh, of course. I mean, hockey is probably my second favorite sport about right now, but I'm a huge football guy.
Oh,
you know?
football guy.
I'm
okay.
a football guy. All my closest friends know that I'm a football guy. Big Giants fan.
Ooh, Big Blue.
Especially an Odell fan, let me tell you.
how's it gonna feel when the Giants
Oh,
get rid of him?
listen.
Okay,
I'm not
okay.
trying to beat you up on a podcast right now.
Well, all right.
Remember when
Let's
I
hear
told
this
you
tape.
guys that the Giants were gonna trade Odell, and then you yelled at me?
Okay,
But,
all
now
right.
look how it's
Let's
going.
not get too personal. By the way, this is an anti-Odell podcast. I myself am a Giants fan, but I'm also a sportsmanship guy. I think Odell's a little bit of a hazard. He's too much to worry about. But Derek's portion of the anti-Odell is that he is been unfortunately cursed with being a Cowboys fan. So that's.
I mean,
that's
I would like to shout out, even though it's my first episode,
you can't
Flem
shout out
BTtags
You don't
anyone.
get shout-outs.
podcast, we are stigma free.
You don't get
So-
shout-outs. We'll cut that out.
Let's breaking news. Villanova has defeated Kansas to advance to the
Oh.
championship against Michigan. That means my finals is perfect. I have Villanova over Michigan.
This is live.
This is live right
This
now.
is live.
This is a live podcast
This is
that you
live.
could listen to any part of the day on YouTube. Just look up BTags and Flem. I'm doing another ad read, aren't I? Okay, so back to the Giants. You share your love for Odell. What do you think is going to happen to him? Because the Rams are licking their lips at the
What?
thought of having him.
Their
mouths are salivating.
We all know you don't want them to trade them, and you'd be extremely upset if they were to trade them. But in all honesty, what do you think will happen? Do you think they'll deal him out at the draft, or what is going to happen? Because
in all-
David
in all honesty-
Gettleman does not like these hotheads, and he's showed that previously.
I know he does.
But he
gets
only
rid of
saw
these
the
guys.
pizza. He only
David
saw the
Gettleman
pizza.
did
That
recently
was enough,
say
though.
that he's devoted time to getting to know this guy, and he sees Odell as a star player, and he
Well,
also,
obviously he should.
and he said himself that you don't just quit on talent like that. So I think David Gettleman has high hopes for Odell, hoping that he'll change his demeanor around. But you know what? You got to respect the guy who loves the game. You know, you need some true passion in the game. I understand where Odell's coming from as a football player myself, but some of his antics are obviously not acceptable. But with this draft coming up and the trades and everything, everyone has said, the owners and Gettleman, that no one is untouchable. I completely agree. No one in the NFL is untouchable. But the Giants would have to run away with a ginormous mega deal for them to even think about getting rid of Odell Beckham Jr. This man has potential to be one of the greatest wide receivers
Now
of all time.
with that being said, I understand. I agree where you're coming from. I do think, like, while I do not like him on the team as much as most people do, I do think he holds a lot of value, and he is a superstar player. But what I've been noticing is, like, some of the trade offers are like first and second round draft picks. Do you think that the Giants will settle for draft picks, or are they looking to get superstars from a superstar?
Listen, they would need multiple first round picks. They would need a pick this year and a pick next year from someone. But now you got to look at a team like the Rams. You're trying to take picks from them. They're looking like they're going to make a
playoff run, yeah,
so
definitely.
then those are later picks, and I don't know. They do need to redevelop the team, but you know what? Odell's still young. The man's I believe 25 years old, and he's already putting up great numbers. He's just he just gets plagued with these injuries that are unfortunate. I mean, you can never just
I don't
expect
think it's
someone
I
to
don't think
break
it's
their
the
leg.
injury where that's the problem with his maturity
We're
off
ta-
the field
we're-
and
we're-
on the field. Actually, also
Yeah,
breaking news:
spearing.
2% of 2% of brackets in the world have predicted Villanova and Michigan correctly, and Flem on the BTags and Flem podcast has predicted that correct. I am of 2%.
And the
2%.
The Pavese family roster's got the Michigan Villanova finals too.
So congratulations.
And also Elite Gamer Rain Napolitano. He actually didn't make one, but in his mind, he was like, I'm taking these two teams after he saw today, after the final scores.
If Randy were to go and make a bracket after watching the games today, he would have picked the perfect bracket. So we have to pay our respects and tributes to that.
Actually,
Hey,
national championship
JBD is top 20 right now in Fortnite. This
This
could be something,
live,
guys.
live.
National
We will keep you
championship,
updated.
Big Al versus Hollywood.
He
Once
has
again,
2 kills.
Tyler, you're not allowed to do shout-outs yet. As we said enough about Osmeldell Beckham Jr. Yeah, I like that one. You like that one?
He'll be gone.
But anyways, you talked about draft picks. Giants do have a big draft pick. Who do you pick?
Oh, all right. Now this is
And also,
This is where
if
it
you could
gets
feed us your
interesting.
expectations for next year.
Okay,
and
that's too much. Just draft
I
pick
want
first.
to know what is your expectations, and I want to see if they're actually realistic or you're being biased.
Okay.
well, okay. So now a lot of people have Sam Darnold as a clear lock for number 1.
Ooh.
Now, there's 2 ways this draft could go. Now we know the Cleveland Browns also have a number 4 pick. The Giants have the number 2. So likely the Giants will draft Saquon Barkley.
Oh, that's big. I like him.
We like Saquon Barkley, but you got to realize there are quite a few pretty solid running backs in this draft. You have Geis, you have Chubb, you have Sony Michel.
Sony Michel.
You have these guys. Now, if you can grab Josh Rosen at number 2,
Hot take right now, he is going to be hot garbage.
Josh Rosen.
Best quarterback out of this draft
Josh Allen.
easily is going to be Josh
Allen.
Easily.
Draft
Listen,
JoshAllen.com.
he's like
Mr. Awas said it first. Josh
Rosen, Josh Allen. I don't care. You take one of these you take one of these quarterbacks.
Just
and,
joshing.
If you can now, even if they take Saquon with the first pick, you can get Sam Darnold. Now you can take any of these quarterbacks. If you can grab one of these good running backs in the second round, let's say Guy slips because he's looking at a late first round. If he slips to the early second round, the Giants are right there. They can get him. Nick Chubb will definitely be available. Sony Michel will be available. If you can grab one of these running backs also and grab a good quarterback, you're set. But you know what? Saquon Barkley is a good player, and
he's a beast and he's a good guy. And I mean, look at his stats. He owns every single record for running backs in the Penn State weight room. He's a hard worker.
He's a workhorse.
He's a grinder. He is insanely talented, and I would be excited to see him wearing the blue and white or white and red or whatever jersey they wear that the Giants have.
Actually, red, black, and white is the real color. Let's go Dallas.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
also,
I say
Tyler,
we put Saquon Barkley on skates and see how he fares.
he looked good in the Devils jersey.
Anybody
Actually would look good.
We need some
I look-
diversity.
Maybe besides Henrik Lundqvist because he doesn't look in any
disgusting.
jersey, especially
You know where he'd look good? He'd look good in a retirement home.
Oh,
Yep.
ouch.
with all those cups that he has.
Oh, that one hurts. It's -1.
Hard to drink when you don't have a cup.
Derek
there was a dab.
Derek just dabbed to that.
Tyler, you're gonna give us a nice little just give us a quick expectation. What's the record
Listen,
and what's it looking like?
I could see if the
And a nice little, let's say 2-year. First off, what's the record?
okay, you know what? The Giants are in a rebuild mode, and there's no doubt
All right,
about
fair
it.
enough that you
There-
said
there's
that.
a fair
What's
enough.
the plan?
We're looking at a 2 or 3 year rebuild right now.
Oh,
And-
That's
Yeah, I know it's not something you want to
3
hear.
years.
It's not
You don't
something
think more?
It's
Three.
no,
No.
no.
Breaking
They
news.
literally threw out their whole
Dave
entire
is now in the
defense.
top 10, and he has an RPG. Things are looking okay.
They threw out their
Golden.
whole
they're all
entire
golden.
defense. Who do they have left? Janoris, Landon Collins.
You know what?
It's only a matter of time until
But
they
you gotta
have
realize-
to pay Odell, and then they don't have enough money to pay
Old man
pay Landon.
Jenkins.
They
Our-
lost their whole entire offensive line.
Listen, you got to pay Odell and you got to tag Landon, but our defensive front is pretty solid. You got Dalvin.
They just traded
I
Juan.
I know.
They traded Juan Pierre Pablo of France
You have
and Spain.
Listen, the way this is gonna have to
With
go.
Anya.
I mean, there's a few possible ways this can go, but you have a solid D line. You got Dalvin Tomlinson. You got Snacks, who's solid.
Oh, I love
He is a
Snacks.
great
He
defensive
is
lineman.
one
Probably
of the
best in the
best
league.
D linemen
Snacks
in the NFL.
is absolutely great.
But you know you
And then
gotta talk
Olivier,
to
but
Olivier.
is huge cap hit.
Exactly, you gotta
it
talk to
does
Olivier.
not look good for them.
Olivier's good, but you know what? Olivier is one of those guys that gets hurt, and he hasn't been as productive as
Definitely
the Giants were
doesn't
hoping.
deserve the money either.
No, you gotta
Definitely
see. You
isn't
gotta
even
see if you can
top
restructure his
15
contract.
defensive end.
But you know, I mean, in next year you're looking at you. I think we do pay Odell, and I think if we keep him, which I'm having hopes we keep him. I feel like we're gonna.
If you think about
But
it,
you're
though,
gonna have to tag Landon Collins. Landon Collins was an absolute steal in the draft, and one of the only things Jerry Reese has done correct. But
well, now he's gone. So
he's gone. You know, I like
Bye-bye.
David Gettleman. He's I like the way he talks. I like how
he
he
did
talks
well
with
in
the Giants.
Carolina. So let's see what he can do back in the Big Apple. So
You know, this is a cutthroat city. You know, everyone's expecting quick
Bad North.
results. It's not easy working in the Big Apple. But if anyone's going to, an experienced David Gettleman is who's going to get the job done for the Giants.
Yeah, there is a lot there. Tyler, we thank you for all your football takes, your Giants knowledge, and your expertise. We are going to end this episode with headline grabbers, but because you are our biggest fan and you begged and cried to be on this episode, we are going to let you in on the headline grabbers. So, how this works is you get 30 seconds, we read you a headline, and we know that you're well-read on news, as are we, and within the 30 seconds, you have to retell the entire headline to our listeners. This way we keep everybody up to speed. So we'll go first and then you go last, right? You're gonna steal the show, obviously. So Derek, my headline for you is Trump ramps up attack on Amazon, demands Washington Post register as lobbyist, and start.
all right, now most people probably think of Amazon the website, but they're entirely wrong. This is actually Trump is sending in many soldiers to the Amazon River. There is a giant anaconda just going around. This is not based off the movie. There is an actual giant anaconda going through the Amazon. All those countries need help, and we are bringing them help. We are sending in the third line for the New Jersey Devils, who play great defense. They're going to shut down that anaconda in the Amazon.
All right, now you what movie were you referencing?
Anaconda with it's with Jennifer Lopez. This is young Jennifer Lopez and Ice Cube. Jennifer Lopez is actually Ice Cube's daughter. I don't understand how that works because he looks very young. Same with Jennifer Lopez. They actually could be probably dating in that movie, but somehow they're the father and daughter. Anyway, we're going to move on to my partner Anthony's headline grabber. Oh my God! Speak of the devil. Anything can happen in New Jersey. Mega Millions, 521 million jackpot has a winning ticket sold in New Jersey. Anthony, go.
Well, I just like to start this headline grabber out with anything could happen in Jersey. Now, this Mega Million refers to a $521 million jackpot with a winning ticket. But what's more important and more notable than the winning ticket is what has been purchased with this winning ticket. Now, I have a list right in front of me. Let me just read this. A vintage Krusty the Clown Jack-in-the-Box. 2 Ninja Turtle Lego playsets, 13 original Texas Toast flavor boxes, and that's about it. That's all that I had time to read, but you know what this person is going to continue to spend this money on, we will not know. Just remember, anything could happen in Jersey. The Mega Million, you got to be in it to win it.
That's right, Kanj. Now we're going to bring the rookie onto the set. Let's see if he has that as great of a season as Nico Heischer. Tyler, now your headline is
Walmart sounds wild but makes sense.
Humana.
Start.
This is a real interesting one. Walmart has released a sound list, I believe, just of a bunch of humminers. It's all the cashiers just humminaing into the microphone, but it makes sense. It says it right there. It makes sense. So Walmart keep humming.
Exactly.
So this what actually happens is that the sound, the droning of every single cashier at a Walmart going humming.
It's like the ASMR, so you can go to sleep at night.
Well,
I love
not
white noise.
but instead of making you fall asleep, it just makes people want to buy everything in Walmart. Now, also what they do to counteract this hamina is that they bring in a 8-year-old boy, dress him up with cowboy boots, jeans, a big belt buckle, a white button-down shirt, and a red bow tie, and he just sings some. This
I thought it said hummus. I'm not gonna lie.
This headline grabber is brought to you by Walmart. Anything could happen at Walmart.
Thank you, Danny.
All right, so Tyler, thank you for coming on the show.
This was great. We're gonna have to have you on again. Maybe we'll get some more. We usually have teachers. This is our first.
I want the man with 2 names. I want to take him back there.
He's calling you out, Mr. Evans. You're going to have to answer to this. How about we're going to have you guys both on the podcast next week. So get ready, viewers. Listeners, I mean, you guys aren't viewing this. You're going to have to tune in next week. And this is going to be one
Electric.
double hockey stick to the ride.
And just to remind you, this podcast is brought to you by BTags and Flem Podcast. Just a friendly reminder to follow us on Twitter and make sure that you can stay up to date with all your podcasts in need. And as always, love you guys.
Good night.
I don't know.